So I recently found out that you can skip both the far fields and the blasted steps to get to the Citadel early in Hollow Knight Silksong. So that got me thinking, if you can skip whole sections including needing to unlock certain abilities, then what's the fewest amount of upgrades or items you need to actually beat Silksong? Well, let's get the easy stuff out of the way first. You don't actually need to pick up any tools or any crests to progress the game. Aside from the Hunter's Crest, which you start the game with, they're all optional. So we'll just be focusing on how few silk skills and movement upgrades are needed to get to the final boss. So grab your needle, not that one, and let's see how low we can go. We'll start in the Moss Grotto as usual and play normally until we reach Bone Bottom. From here we can continue to the right and go up to get past the gate and keep going right to enter the Marrow. From here, if we go back up and then turn left, we can get over to the Moss Home where we can open the elevator back down to Bone Bottom. Then we'll grind up rosaries off enemies in the Moss Home in order to buy the simple key in Bone Bottom off of Peb. Now if we take the elevator back up, you can get across this gap to the left by pogoing off of both of these stupid mosquito looking things and then continue to the left past the No matter how hard you try, this guy's gonna hit you, so just be prepared. Now in this room is where the simple key comes in handy. We'll use it to open this door into the Wormways. Now we gotta go left until we get to this jump that requires the dash, but we have a way around it. Kill Hornet. This will leave behind a cocoon, so now you have to make your way back up there and use the edge of this platform to do a climb up jump, and then combo that into a pogo off of the cocoon before finally doing a heel stall mid-air at this ledge. Keep holding right and Hornet will grab the ledge and climb up onto it. Nice job, we just did a cool skip. There's more. Make your way right through this room and down this way to get here. Heel stall here, and even if you don't grab the ledge, you'll respawn there. Then, without standing on any safe solid ground, which just means this area, we can use these worms to refill silk and respawn back up here before doing another heel stall and barely grabbing this platform to continue on and out of the Wormways. Now we're back in the gaping hole area, and we need to lure these guys up to here so we can pogo off of them and enter Shellwood on the right. Congratulations! We have now skipped all of the deep docks and far fields and made it to Shellwood without the dash ability. I had barely enough roses to afford this bench and finally get a checkpoint. But now that we're in Shellwood, we'll be acquiring our first upgrade that is absolutely required to beat the game. Cling Grip. In order to do this, we just head up this room and go to the right into here. Then if we taunt spam in this spot on these ledges, we can rage bait this enemy into moving to this perfect spot, which we can then use to pogo off of to get up higher. From there, pogo off of this enemy and downward slash to barely make this ledge. Head left with some more pogoing until this room where we need to wait for this dumbass to be in the perfect spot so we can pogo off of him. Then jump across to here and heel stall mid-air to let this dude stick his head out and immediately pogo off of him to get up to safety. Use the Brachiosaurus necked guys to farm silk and get the last bit from this guy. Then just pogo across the 3 flowers here and heel stall to make the edge of the platform, and then finally continue right to reach the Cling Grip while skipping the Sister Splinter fight entirely. I guess she's skipped her Splinter now. Now we can head through the haunted town of Belhart and save absolutely nobody except a seat for myself at this bench before continuing into Greymoor. By the way, if you're curious as to what happens if you walk up to the Mooring fight from behind, well, it's nothing. Nothing happens. He literally doesn't spawn.
Oh, brother!
Anyway, here in Greymoor, we can use the wall jump to climb up these towers and open the elevator beside the halfway home. Then we just cross the top of the room to enter the Sinner's Road. Now, while doing this, I actually found out that if you get here before fighting Lace like I did, she'll just greet you up here instead and you get to skip her first boss fight. Cool. Well, now that we're here, we can head towards the top part going past Timothy Chalamet here, while doing some sick double pogos off spikes to get to the top half of this room. From here, we can just build up our silk off the enemies and then heel stall off this wall jump to reach the top room. Hang left and swim through the maggot muck to get to the edge of the room and find a breakable wall leading us into the mist. That's correct, you can get all the way to the mist with only the wall climb ability. Alright, now that it's proven just how far you can get, it's time to talk about the end game of this strategy. So, some of you might be yelling at your screen that I need to go back to Belhart to get the needle in, as I need it to learn all 3 melodies to reach the cradle. Well, actually you don't, or might not. See, the game expects you to have the needle in by the time you learn the melodies and need to play them. So in the late game, it actually just forces Hornet to pull out the needle in whether you've unlocked it or not. Meaning that we'll need to get past either the Grand Gate or the Mist without it. Now, the Grand Gate is impossible, as you need to play your needle in unprompted to even open it. But the Mist? Well, the jury's still out on the Mist. See, we know you can RNG through the Mist without ever needing to actually play the needle in, but there doesn't seem to be a complete consensus on whether or not the Mist mist is possible if you haven't unlocked the Needlin. What I mean is that, in my 5 minutes of research, some people have said that the game checks to see if you've unlocked the Needlin when entering the mist, and that it's hard-coded to be impossible until you have the upgrade. But at the same time, I haven't found much evidence to back this up, only comments on Twitter and Reddit threads. So that means that if someone can crack the coding of the mist, or you have 5 hours to spare to throw attempts at it, we can hopefully figure out if it's possible or not. So for now, we're gonna chalk the Needlin down as, maybe. If anyone knows better about this than me though, feel free to let me know in the comments and I can pin it. Just be nice about it please, don't hurt my feelings. This is me when you hurt my feelings. This is who you're hurting. Anyway, once you get past the mist, from there you can just pass up through the exhaust organ and defeat Phantom to enter the Citadel from the backside and skipping the blasted steps and the last judge boss fight. Now, unfortunately, this does come with the trade-off that upon defeating Phantom, we are forced to pick up the cross-stitch Silk skill. But I think it's a fair trade-off considering we're skipping Needlin. However, if it's the case that Needlin is hard-coded to get past the mist, just go around through the blasted steps instead and fight the last judge. That way it's either only Needlin or cross-stitch that we're picking up to move on. So that leaves us at 2 upgrades going into Act 2. Anyway, all we have to do now is to drop down into the Underworks and make our way over to pick up the Claw line, as not only will it be required to get into the high halls for the Conductor's Melody, it will provide an alternative for the dash ability, and means we'll no longer be horizontally challenged and have everything we need to complete the entire late game, beating Silksong with only 3 upgrades. Apparently the way to get to the Claw line is gate kept by literally this one part where you need the Drifter's Cloak. There's no enemies to lure to pogo off of, no way to murk yourself, and heal stalling won't help. It's literally this one bit that's screwing us over. Well, and also 2 jumps right before you unlock Claw line that are just a bit too far. But at least it would be solved by Drifter's Cloak. So all we need to do is backtrack and see if we can get Drifter's Cloak without needing Dash or Silk Spear. Heading back down to Bone Bottom, if we walk through the marrow, we find out that all the entrances to the Deep Docks are blocked behind going through the Bellbeast fight. Meaning we would need Silk Spear, unless we go back to Bellheart and use the secret path below the Bellway to skip all the locked doors and drop onto the other side, freeing up the path to Deep Docks. Awesome! Now we can just walk across here straight towards the far fields until we... fuck! Yeah, we've got another roadblock. Not only here, but on the path above as well. And honestly, it was at this point that I thought I had met my match, and I was going to be forced to get the dash ability. And as a result, I was going to make this video with a less satisfying answer. However, the following day, I decided on a whim to check where all the simple keys were, because there is one other way to get around this and into the far fields, by going below. The only problem is we need a simple key, and we already used one for the Wormways. Luckily, and to my huge relief, there is one of the 3 remaining simple keys that's still accessible. It's in Sinner's Road. So let's go get that. Well, it turns out getting it is incredibly annoying, and I was rage baited multiple times trying to get up to it. So much so that I spent 30 minutes fixing the Sinner's Road bench just so I could get the closer spawn. Nevertheless, the tech to get up there is pretty cool. We do that same heal stall to get up to the top room, but instead we go right this time and run for your life from these roaches until you get below this platform. This part's kind of fun, but kind of tricky to time. What I did is I waited until one of the roaches pounced and pogoed off of them while they were jumping mid-air for the extra height to just make it up onto the platform. Now, we can continue to the right and into the next room, and we can use this enemy to heal up and replenish Silk by leaving and re-entering the room. But do not kill this enemy, because we're going to lure him down here to get around him, so we can jump off of this wall and pogo off of him while he's chasing us to reach the other wall and climb up to this mini-boss room. Then we just slap this guy's cheeks and get a simple key. Now we can make our way all the way back down through Bellheart and into the Deep Docks again. We'll fight a quick little enemy gauntlet to unlock the bench next to the Forge Daughter. We'll want a close bench because to reach the simple key door, we'll be using a cocoon pogo over the lava and heal stall to get onto the ledge. Then, using the simple key, now we can enter the lower part of the Deep Docks. And all we need to do is go all the way across the upper section to get to far fields. Luckily, there's no hard platforming here, and with Cling Grip it's quite easy. Just watch out for these fat asses, they'll try to chase you down like you're the last strip of turkey at Thanksgiving. Now we just break into far fields and head into the main room. At this point, we can either do the boring option of going in the normal way, or you can lure this guy up to pogo off of him, and then get up this wall in the room to the left, to go around on top to get to the Bellway. There you can pay for this bench and the Bellway Station, and then get your health down to 1 mask left and enter this secret area and have this explosion kill you. Then you can pogo off of it to get up and go around and drop into this area with the Drifter's Cloak from above to be able to skip the 4th chorus fight entirely. Whichever way you go, both are doable without dash, and you'll get the Drifter's Cloak in no time. Then we can just use the Drifter's Cloak to rise back up into Greymoor, and now we have all the tools we'll need to beat the game, only getting 4 upgrades: the Clean Grip, the Cross Stitch or Needlin', Drifter's Cloak, and Clawline. What, you want me to do the whole run now? No, I just wanted to prove that it was possible. I'd rather fight 2 savage shitflies at the same time than drive myself insane doing that High Halls Gauntlet without tools or silk skills. Okay, fine, but only if you subscribe.